I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. A while back I visited Shiloh Farms ARTiques. It was a gallery run by Twyla Nye, who's the owner and resident artist. Her antique shop is in a barn from the 1800s. And hanging on the back wall there while I was doing the video shoot, I noticed a saw. Well, I didn't pick it up that day, but I went back the next day and it came home with me. It's a classic styled saw. It's a Sheffield Warranted Saw by the Medallion. Sheffield was a second line for the Atkins Company, EC Atkins, out of Indianapolis. Sheffield Warranted Saws were a second line from the EC Atkins Company out of Indianapolis. They're considered to be very good saws. The blades are somewhat harder than the saws of the same period. Atkins had a tendency to make hardened blades. That's why you'll see broken teeth on an Atkins saw blade. If you end up setting them in properly, trying to change the kerf width, you'll snap off the tips of the teeth. One of the messages in the Atkins book on saw filing is to be sure that you use rounded edges on your saw files. You don't want to have a square sharp point in the bottom of the tooth, which causes cracking. If they crack, Sheffield won't warrant the saw. Sheffield's been out of business long enough, I don't think they're going to do anything for me on this saw anyways, but it's kind of an interesting thing to know. It's made out of spring steel. One of the things that Atkins prided itself on was their silver steel, which is a high grade of spring steel. A good blade should be able to be bent clear around, almost touching itself, and straightened back out without a bend. This is their mainline Atkins saw. This saw is going to take a little bit of work to get it to look as good as this Atkins that I held in my right hand. But I have a good feeling that it's probably going to be a fine saw when I get done with it. It's just a little bit longer than this Atkins. And that could be because this one might have been cut off at one time. Sometimes people would make a mistake and damage the end of their saw, and they would just cut it off square and then grind it smooth. So we'll take a quick minute here and see if I can bring up an etch on the side of this saw blade. Well, that's turning out pretty good. Says Sheffield Saw Works, cast steel, Tippecanoe, Indianapolis, Indiana, number 28, USA. That's pretty cool. Seldom do I see one that shows up quite that well. Sheffield Saw Works, cast steel, Tippecanoe, Indianapolis, Indiana, number 28, USA. Never seen a clearer etch on any saw. It's definitely going to be worth the time to clean up the etch on it. But for that, I'm going to have to take the handle off. It's definitely going to be worth the time and trouble to clean up that saw plate. That is a beautiful etch. But for that, I'm going to have to remove the tote. But it'll be time well spent.